And I think it's a stark reminder that the American people, they believe in freedom and charging toward the frontier. So it was a big win for Trump. It was a big win for Elon Musk. It was a big win for freedom of speech. I think that it was probably one of the more extraordinary things, maybe one of the more extraordinary things of the century. And it would be very difficult to forecast the future of the crypto industry, the digital assets industry, and Bitcoin before and now. We actually have a lot more clarity about what's coming next.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. Michael Saylor, Executive Chairman of MicroStrategy, discusses the impact of the election on the future of Bitcoin and the broader crypto industry, Michael's vision for digital assets and regulation, cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, tokens, America's manifest destiny, expanding dominance to cyberspace via a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Well, I think what we clearly heard from Donald Trump is never sell your Bitcoin. Big question was, does the United States sell Bitcoin? Does the United States buy Bitcoin? If you recall, the German government sold a lot of Bitcoin at $55,000 a Bitcoin. It turns out to be a more than $1 billion mistake in a couple of weeks. Big mistake. Mm-hmm. And people used to speculate, well, you know, is the government going to dump the Bitcoin? Are they not? And now what you see is Trump is pro-Bitcoin. And with the red sweep, that means the Republicans run the Senate, control the Senate, and they control the House, which means the pro-Bitcoin senators, like Senator Lummis, have now moved from being in the minority to being in the majority. In the minority, you watch the laws being written. In the majority, you write the laws, you pass the laws. Before November 5th, there was actually broad consensus in the House and the Senate to repeal SAB 121. And they did. And the president vetoed it. So what I would expect is that SAB 121 will be either withdrawn by the SEC or it will be repealed, and the president will support the repeal. That opens the way for banks to custody Bitcoin. That opens the way for the entire banking system to embrace Bitcoin. And I think for Bitcoin to grow by a factor of 100x from here, we need for the banking system of the world to support Bitcoin. So if I think about the consequences for Bitcoin, I think what this means is it's an acceleration of pro-Bitcoin regulations. I think that we'll see in-kind creation and redemption of Bitcoin ETFs. I think we'll see the repeal of SAB 121. I think we'll see support for Bitcoin within the banking system from the banking regulators, from Treasury, from OCC, from SEC. I think you'll see more supportive legislation from Congress. I think it will be approved by the White House. I think that this is a signal to accelerate institutional adoption.
MicroStrategy founder and Bitcoin bull Michael Saylor has ruled out the chances of Bitcoin retracing to $60,000, a crucial price level for the majority of 2024. I don't think it is going to $60,000. It is not going to $30,000. I think it is going to go up from here, Saylor told CNBC on November 14. Bitcoin is trading around $87,790, according to CoinMarketCap. He said Donald Trump's win very decidedly settled the future of crypto and Bitcoin in the United States, adding, I don't really see any threats on the near-term horizon. I'm planning the $100,000 party, Saylor said. I'm thinking it's probably going to be New Year's Eve at my house, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't go through $100,000 in November or December. MicroStrategy, the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, is set to raise $1.75 billion from senior convertible notes at a 0% interest rate to buy more BTC. MicroStrategy said it intends to use the net proceeds from this offering to acquire additional Bitcoin and for general corporate purposes in its November 18 statement. The business intelligence firm's 0% senior convertible note means it will not pay regular interest to bondholders. These convertibles are sold at a discount and will instead mature to face value if they are not converted prior to the maturity date, which is 2029 in MicroStrategy's case. They're also senior to common stock in the sense that holders have priority in the event of bankruptcy or liquidation. MicroStrategy could buy another 19,065 Bitcoin at current prices if it were to spend the entire $1.75 billion on Bitcoin.
I think that the previous administration had been hostile to Bitcoin mining, hostile to Bitcoin banking, hostile to the Bitcoin ETFs, and the failure of Silicon Valley Bank, followed by the shutdown, effectively the forcible liquidation of Silvergate and Signature, even though those were solvent banks. They were perfectly healthy banks that were actually forced into receivership by a hostile administration. I think that had caused the banking establishment, reasonably enough, to be skittish and to be conservative and a little bit slow to adopt Bitcoin because they could see there was resistance in the administration. I think that now, with a new administration, with President Trump coming to the Bitcoin conference in Nashville and saying, I will end the war on crypto, I will end the war on Bitcoin, I will support Bitcoin, we will not sell our Bitcoin. We're going to make Bitcoin in America. America is going to be the capital of Bitcoin, right? The fact that he said that, I think that sets the tone at the top. That means I think, number one, it seems inconceivable to me that a head of the Treasury or the CFTC or the SEC will be appointed that is anti-Bitcoin or anti-crypto, right? That seems quite obvious. We know that Trump is all in on crypto, all in on Bitcoin. So I think that we'll have favorable, supportive cabinet members. I think the second thing is we know we'll have a supportive Congress. Congress was already in favor of Bitcoin, before November 5th. We'll have a supportive Senate. The Republican senators were already in favor of Bitcoin. The Democratic senators have been sidelined and won't have any power in this regard. So Elizabeth Warren's agenda is going to become largely a thing of the past and irrelevant in the White House, and the Senate, and the Congress of the future. So I think that all of this suggests an acceleration of institutional adoption. It's a signal that it's okay for insurance companies to think about insuring Bitcoin companies. It's a signal that it's okay for banks to bank Bitcoin and crypto companies. It's a signal that it's okay for Wall Street to start to embrace, endorse, and advocate Bitcoin, right? It's a signal that the president and the administration is going to look at things like Operation Choke Point as hostile to the interest of the industry. I think if you combine that with the pro-business and the pro-American agenda of the red wave, it's pretty clear that this administration wants to grow business in America. It wants to deregulate. It wants to strip away handcuffs. It wants to lower taxes. It wants to accelerate progress and then the passage to the future in the United States. And all of that, I think, is just very auspicious for Bitcoin and the digital assets industry.
Bitcoin Treasuries data shows it currently holds 331,200 Bitcoin, worth over $30.3 billion, following its purchase of another $4.6 billion worth of Bitcoin on November 18. MicroStrategy has bought 142,050 Bitcoin this year, worth around $12.8 billion at current prices. Michael Saylor's firm is now up 133% on its Bitcoin investment strategy, having bought its Bitcoin for an average purchase price of $39,292. MicroStrategy shares increased nearly 13% to set a new closing high of $374.80 on November 18, but have fallen 0.7% in after-hours, Google Finance data shows. Last month, MicroStrategy revealed its plan to raise $42 billion over the next 3 years to stack more Bitcoin under its 21-21st plan, consisting of $21 billion in equity and $21 billion in fixed income securities. Bitcoin is currently priced at $91,653, less than 2% off its all-time high of $93,477, reached on November 13, CoinGecko data shows. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.